Cheating in video games has been around as long as the media genre has been in existence. But recently, this struggle between light and darkness has existed in a state of perpetual standoff, and publishers are struggling to cope with the onslaught of new cheaters. Valorant, Riot Games' new competitive multiplayer shooter, requires that PC players download and install a controversial Vanguard anti-cheat system, but even so, cheating has quickly emerged in this new IP. I recently read through an IGN interview with Riot programmer and anti-cheat lead, Paul Chamberlain, where he explained that he fully expected to see cheats within the first 2 weeks of the beta. As it turns out, he was being overly optimistic. The reality was that cheats began emerging within several days of Valorant going into beta testing. As of late April, Valorant was offering a maximum reward of $100,000 on HackerOne.com, a site where companies offer incentives to hackers for exposing security issues in their software. Call of Duty: Modern Warfare and its free-to-download battle royale Warzone made headlines in late March when it banned 50,000 players and another 20,000 more by April 14th. And all of this from a game that launched just 1 month prior. Now granted, this title is wildly popular, hitting 50 million players in its first month, but with cheaters, it only takes one to completely ruin an entire lobby. By mid-May, cheaters had become so prevalent that Infinity Ward initiated two-step SMS authentication for new Warzone PC users, as most console players were opting out of the cross-play function in fear of ending up in lobbies with PC players using cheats. In a final stroke of sheer genius and poetic justice, Infinity Ward announced in late April that they would be using an old form of punishment by throwing suspected cheaters into matches together. Recently, Bungie also came under fire from its community over cheating in Destiny 2. Attempting to get ahead of that situation, Bungie released a lengthy and extremely transparent announcement where it revealed that cheating in Destiny 2 was up nearly 50% since January, and significantly more in the highest skill echelons. Destiny engineering director David Aldridge revealed that prior to the Season of the Worthy launching, they were averaging 656 bans or restrictions per week, but that rate more than tripled to 2,133 in the first 4 weeks after launch. Furthermore, this announcement outlined all the different forms of malicious attacks they encounter on a daily basis, including aimbots, wall hacks, infinite ammo, infinite ability energy, infinite respawns, teleports, and lag switching and DDoS attacks on consoles. And yesterday, Battlestate Games announced another 3,000 players had been banned from their title, Escape from Tarkov. In fact, Battlestate uses Twitter as a community bounty board with daily announcements of the number of players they have just banned. Now, while one could argue that a lifetime ban for first-time offenders is harsh, cheaters make games worse for everyone. Even PUBG has followed Infinity Ward's example and has added two-factor authentication in order to participate in ranked games, and to date, PUBG has banned millions of accounts for using cheat programs. Let me go right on record and state that I am absolutely and unconditionally against any form of cheating in video games. Perverting a media that is designed to be challenging and exhilarating into pixelated garbage that can be easily manipulated and circumvented is something I will never understand. And as we've seen for years, cheating is not something that is just isolated to the video game genre. You see it in everyday life. Impatient drivers using the right-hand turn lane to sneak up in front of every driver waiting patiently at the red light. Shoppers grabbing 50% off placards from one section of the store and then attempting to attach it to the inventory they are holding that was clearly not from that clearance section. Pro sports is a virtual petri dish of dishonesty, as athletes will seemingly stop at nothing to gain even a slight advantage over an opponent. Steroids, HGH, EPO, juiced bats, underweight race cars, outlawed materials, and I would be remiss if I didn't point a broad stroke at everything surrounding pro cycling. But when it comes to our cherished video games, our feelings towards the perceived unfairness turn to one of rage and crushing agony. Now, for gamers that have been at the receiving end of this slight, many experience intense anger, with adjectives like douchebag or other four-letter words being dropped repeatedly. And BTW, I'm guilty of all of the above and will raise you several PlayStation controller destructions. Now, the offended party may or may not file a suspicious action report, and then the cycle resets and the cheater moves on to another lobby of unsuspecting gamers. And this is how this apathetic coexistence has continued for many years, with no one, including most gaming media outlets, taking a serious interest in cheaters other than the obvious that they are just cheating. In late 2019, EGM Now went further than most when they infiltrated a cheater's Discord server with intentions of interviewing anyone that would agree, but as expected, none seemed willing to discuss their motivations. Now, eventually, one did agree under strict terms of anonymity and revealed that he was introduced into this world of cheating by his brother. As the brothers competed against each other, he could never beat his brother. He continued on. It got to the point I stopped playing with him, but after a while I just got curious and I wanted to know how to get better. Now, it turns out getting better was actually just using cheats. What was also established from this interview was that this participant has been cheating for a length of time and that he has reached out to his friends and helped them cheat too, continuing this vicious cycle. The subject also revealed that he doesn't always cheat, but he has them ready in case he encounters another cheater, further echoing this argument that cheaters have to cheat in order to be competitive versus other cheaters. I will reference this interview later in this commentary, but for now I feel it's important to separate cheating for profits versus cheating for fame, and for our continuation we can easily remove the former as the motives are simple and undeniable. Cheating for personal glory, fame, or just out of sheer boredom is a more immeasurable chasm that requires a deep understanding of the human psyche. A topic that I am not wholly qualified to engage in, as I am not a psychologist, but I do understand myself and will use this understanding to approach the idea from a different angle. Human beings, and believe it or not, animals, such as our close primate cousins, have an intuitive understanding of fairness. A fair competition is considered fun. But if it turns out you never had a chance and the cards were stacked against you, that sense of fun goes out the window. Furthermore, all humans have a small bit of cheating leeway that they can participate in and not encounter feelings of remorse. This, however, is a very slippery slope, as when they do try a small form of cheating and succeed, they can slowly but surely see their dishonesty escalate to the point of becoming a larger problem. Now, the journey of becoming a full-blown cheater may be exceedingly long, but the short hops in between the stages are quite small. The multi-stage answer to the question of why players cheat requires that one accept several givens. Number 1. Cheating gives players an unfair advantage. Strip away any sense of unfairness, and all that's left is advantage. And the more advantages one player has over another, the easier it is to win. And number 2, many cheaters participate in this abusive tactic for the end result of making themselves look or feel good. There are plenty of highly skilled players around the world that don't need cheats to achieve this result, but for many that either don't possess the innate skill or time needed to hone their talents, they must resort to cheats in order to compete. In the Chinese gaming market, cheaters run rampant, and it is accepted as part of their gaming culture. The general understanding is that for many, the systemic classification of persons via class titles has fostered a practice of using bribes and favors to access privileges previously locked. As children grow up in this environment, it is seen as the societal norm, and once you have tasted the forbidden fruit, you can never go back, as this sort of gratification is highly addictive. For many within this culture, it is the only way they can appease their own demons, fears, and insecurities. Attempting to bring this one to a conclusion, and referencing both the EGM Now interview and the Chinese gaming cultural reference, and the underlying issue here is easy to understand, but extremely hard to correct. These are learned generational, societal, and cultural practices that are deeply rooted in the human need for affirmation. I can't definitively tell you that the EGM cheater would have a dramatically different life if his brother had never used cheat codes against him to gain the advantage. Furthermore, I can't tell you where the brother learned those behaviors that he in turn used against his kin that have so deeply molded his perceptions of cheating. What I can definitively state is that societal perceptions to be noticed, to excel at something, are stronger now than ever. It is these expectations to achieve greatness that push our ego to new heights for attention and glory despite the consequences. Now, for the heaviest offenders, permanent bans from the IP or even jail time are not enough to quell their desires for higher and higher levels of acceptance and fame. Perhaps if publishers would take a holistic approach to managing the epidemic of cheaters by not only thwarting their attempts to cheat, but also attempting to address the learned generational tolerance towards cheating, they would be more successful. Now, I could continue on into the economics of cheating, cheat code sales, and the millions of dollars at stake, but that is enough rambling for today. As always, I look forward to reading your feedback in the comments section below. If you like this style of commentary, take just a second to hit the subscribe button and ring the notifications bell to never miss a future upload notification from my channel. If you liked the video, rate it with a thumbs up, if not with a thumbs down. If you feel like supporting my content creation outside of YouTube, links to my Patreon and Teespring accounts are in the video description. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for all my latest thoughts concerning most things gaming related, and until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.